I'm going moon to moon.
Yep. We're all set?
Yes, we're set.
All right. In accordance with the state's open meeting law and federal wiretapping laws, we wish all to attend to know that this meeting is being taped by the town's cable access group, members of the press, and from time to time, members of the public. So we're going to start with the minutes. Minutes of November 4th. I didn't see any changes.
I have one correction.
Get the lightning?
Who's on the,
100,000. Reserve fund. But in the second line of the paragraph is
oh, yeah,
the word
right.
lightning.
Oh, lightning?
Yeah.
Misspelled? Yep.
Also on,
Okay.
Lightning, there you go.
this, on the third one, old library operating costs,
Mm-hmm.
you have representatives, kind of midway, right here,
Mm-hmm.
right down, representatives of CPIC, Board of Selectmen, FinCom, and schools met informally. Those weren't the representatives, those were the chairs.
Was it all chairs? Yeah.
They were all chairs.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Anything else?
Anything
The
else?
only thing I saw.
Is that for the correct time, for the time you're changed?
Steve, do you have anything else? Somebody want to make a motion to accept?
I make a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes approved. No public, right? Purpose.
Public?
What are we, chopped liver?
Yeah.
Deeds, come on up.
All right. My friend John Lee will be joining us. He's the brains of the operation.
I mean, you're here with a purpose.
You're in trouble. So we're here to present our recommendations for CPC funding for fiscal year 2017. And we have handouts.
Great.
So that's what great guests we are, yeah. How many, does everybody here want a copy? Do you, yeah.
6.
And you want to give one to the press?
Already covered
You
the
got it.
press, yeah. Lorraine, this made it all the
This
way?
looks familiar.
Oh, that's, yeah, I bet it does.
I think we're set here.
Okay, did you guys get these?
Nope.
Tim?
Wake up.
Oh, so,
Thank you.
So discussion, we received a fairly large number of grant requests this year, including 3 in the historical category alone. We also, as a group, were mindful of the need to start transferring money to service the debt for the town hall renovation project. And, and our recommendations this year really just take all that into consideration. As is our usual approach, we figure out what the minimums, the 10% of available funds that go right from the start into affordable housing, open space, historic, and so we did that with Affordable Housing Trust, a portion of what Conservation Commission requested from us. We were fortunate to have some historic preservation reserves from prior years to be able to award Janet Valenti at least a significant majority of what she had wanted to, what she'd asked us for preserving town records under state law.
Great.
Yeah, that's always a nice thing, an important thing too for our heritage. And then, and Lorraine knows all about this, we are taking a somewhat, you can call it aggressive or proactive position with regard to town hall renovation in an attempt to more rapidly pay down the debt and get back to a position within a couple of years to where that historic preservation money that we generate every year is available for project-oriented grants, which I guess it's safe to say we have a cultural preference for. You know, things that when we donate the money, like the stone wall, to take one example, an odd example since we took no action on that this year, but we can explain. Bless you, Tim. Bless you.
Thank you. Good, I'll leave.
Yeah, so that's our general preference is to fund things that are visible and that, you know, frankly, provide a material value for the work that we on the commission do. Now, there were also, we did this on an accelerated schedule this year by request we got from Debbie Ritchie in order to better, I guess, coordinate our grant activities with those of your committee and others in town that also bear a similar responsibility for funding work around town. So this is earlier than in previous years, and with hope this becomes the norm for us. I don't see any issue with that. I think that we had ample time to receive our requests and to properly review and vet and decide. So that was part of the thinking also, where we decided to take no action. Stonewall restoration project, while the request was made for $50,000, I believe the discussion wound up at a consensus that there's probably more than $50,000 worth of work that remains to fully complete that project. You know, so some consideration was made, in short, for the possibility that other organs of town government could assist in the funding of some of these other projects. And then we've got the oddball request, oddball not pejoratively, but just an unusual request from the Village Nursery School for $200 to build a nature trail, for which we also decided to take no action, just because of, I guess, kind of the unusual nature of it, more than anything else. Is there anything to add?
No, I mean, the Nature Trail Conservation Commission didn't
endorse it.
Didn't endorse it.
What is the conservation fund request?
200.
They asked for 200, which is typical every year.
Right.
That's the money that they put into the fund to purchase them in the future with CPA dollars.
So it goes into an account for them.
Right.
Similar.
But I mean, had you previously funded that? Or?
Actually, last year, we did not either.
Is that right?
I don't think
Well,
so.
because I kind of have a feeling we generally do.
We do.
Right.
I
I don't remember about
can't-
last year
I can't remember
specifically.
either. But we did the invasive species management last year, and this is a follow-up to continue through that. Most of the historic ones, the Shaker Herb House, we found that we could probably get that work done through DPW.
Oh, that's right. Mhm.
The Preservation Restriction Reserve,
Do you said probably get it done through DPW? Do you have some sort of understanding, any?
I'm not sure where it got left off. I mean, it was,
I think it boiled down to one or two CPC members saying, oh, I'll make a call for you. You know?
Well, but the thing is, this is a restoration project?
no, actually, it's some landscape work.
Landscape work around the Shaker First Herb, or is that what you were
Tree
talking
cutting.
about? Tree cutting?
Is it?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
yeah.
I remember that, yeah.
I remember
Tree-
the phone
tree-
call.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah, so,
so Tim, is it taken care of, or?
Well, we attempted to, but the trees were supposed to have been marked.
Mm-hmm.
And when I talked to the Historical Commission chairman, they had not actually been marked yet.
Uh-oh.
So it's not been done?
No, because
yeah.
he was supposed to.
It'll get taken,
He
it'll
was
get taken
supposed to
care of.
contact me and let me know when they got marked.
Mhm.
The Preservation,
It has to do with trees though, right?
yes, trees,
That's-
trees and brush.
Mhm.
The Preservation Restriction Reserve was an idea they have to set up a fund.
Similar to what MHT does, similar to what the Conservation Commission does.
Right, so that at a future date, if there's some need to put a preservation restriction on a building or property outside the historic district, they would have some funds to do that.
What does that mean, to put up a preservation restriction
It's,
on
it's.
a property? I just don't know.
No, but it's similar to a conservation restriction, where
There's some surveying work, legal work.
it goes into the title of the property that essentially says, you know, in lieu of this money, we're restricting the rights of the property owner not to change the property.
So it's a legal kind of
Yes.
thing?
Yeah, and then it
So-
goes in the deed so that as the
Okay.
properties change hands, they continue, these restrictions continue to be observed.
Okay, so when you don't fund something that you may need a reserve of, what happens if you run out? Or if you don't have
Never
it?
had it.
They never had
They-
it.
yeah, this
No,
is
they
a
haven't had it.
a
Oh,
novel.
this is
This
a
is-
new idea?
Yes,
Oh,
Yes.
but Lorraine, do you support this new idea of a reserve fund for, I mean,
Not a reserve fund, it's
No.
a fund
fund?
that they have available to them to be ready to do that. I think it's premature.
Don't you already, I mean, I know when
Well,
it
they
was.
didn't take action, so, right, no action?
Well, you asked me how I
Right,
felt.
Yes,
about
and
it.
okay, that's good to know.
I know under
Okay.
CPC rules, you need to put 10% aside
Yes.
for,
Yeah, they've got that
housing.
covered.
right, all
Yeah.
that. Don't you have a historic reserves?
Well, any of these, so preservation
So
of,
emptying out the historic reserves for
Right.
town hall.
Right, so that's, I mean,
Yeah.
that looms large in our thinking now.
So town hall,
Ever since last year.
town records, and any of these
That's a
would
big
qualify.
chunk.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's a good.
This 300,000 will empty out the historic reserve account.
Well, no, we have to put a minimum of
That's gonna
10%
be
in,
revenues. which
and
is
we
the
can put any amount
Which
in
is-
excess of that,
Wait,
too.
wait, wait. Lorraine, what did
I'm
you
gonna-
say?
I'm-
Okay, you'll be in.
For me to
okay.
finish. And when he finishes, I'll tell you what the problem is.
So out of the whole
I don't want you to forget.
pot of money that we have, you just have to put 10% in each one of those, and then you can use the rest at your discretion, so.
And we're basing, the 10% is calculated on a base of, what do we estimate our,
I assume that the 26,100 is
is represents,
Yeah,
is
it's
a rough
a
number.
little over,
It's
yeah.
rough, it's in excess.
Yeah.
Basically, it comes from the
About 5,000.
fiscal year tax collection receipts, plus any interest and state reimbursement. So,
So this is the 1.1% plus the money we get from the state.
yes, which they announced just today, and you already know the numbers.
Is it still 20?
It's about the same as last year.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like $40 difference.
Oh, wow.
Up or
Pretty
down?
close.
Actually, I didn't check.
I'm kidding.
It's so close, it was like,
Yeah.
um,
So you
Another
had,
problem.
yes.
Okay, I've been playing telephone tag with legal at DOR
Mhm.
because the timing. Most of the 300 is coming out of CPC revenue. CPC revenue is not available until July 1st.
Right.
The bond is due June 25th.
Oh.
And to do a borrowing for 2 weeks
Mhm.
costs about the same as to do it for a year,
Mhm.
because it's based on the amount of the bond, or ban, not the time. The interest is on the time, but the cost going through legal and all that crap is based on the amount.
Okay.
So I have asked them, as it was posed to me, could we borrow funds that we have through a town meeting vote? It would have to be very, very specifically
Yeah.
named at town meeting,
Mm.
that we're borrowing from stabilization, for example,
Okay.
this 300 to be returned by CPC in July.
You're talking a couple of weeks.
Yes, but I've never heard of such a thing, but that doesn't mean it can't be done.
Right.
So I have called DOR, our DOR rep turned it over to DOR Legal, and we've been playing telephone tag for a full week. And I'm not there when he's there, and he's there when I'm not.
So we don't have an answer yet.
We don't have an answer yet.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like an innovative, creative way to do things that doesn't,
Allows you to do what you want to do at the same time.
the goal.
Doesn't cause borrowing nightmare. The question, though, I mean, the actual is that, legal has been reduced in staff.
Everybody
over
has.
this. Yeah, so
Hmm.
it's going, could take a while.
DOE grants, at a staff of 10, a staff of 4.
Right.
Wow.
The 6 people who left had a combined history at that, of DOE grants of 208 years. 6 people.
The knowledge base down there.
Yeah,
That's,
38 years down to 31 years.
It's called the brain drain.
That's right.
They-
Everything's slower and taking longer.
They retired, or did they?
Yeah, they took early retirement.
Took early retirement, left.
Nice incentive that some people get allowed to go on,
Mhm.
but not everybody.
Nice incentive.
No brain drain.
I could have stayed, I could have gone
It would
home
be a
tonight,
brain,
too.
yeah.
We're supposed to be here.
I know I wasn't. You weren't here at the beginning to hear the story.
So we're waiting for an answer on that.
Yes, we should have it at least within the week.
And if it's not allowable or possible to do, then I guess we fall back and we pay the full cost of the $1 million bond.
Is that right?
Payment.
I mean, it seems like a steep price to pay for a kind of a bureaucratic kind of, sorry, I didn't mean
I
to tickle your
understand, no,
funny bone.
no, that's- I get it, I understand what you're saying.
I mean, you're going to pay $1
but-
million either way. It's just, are you going to pay $1 million
Right,
with
right.
interest?
With
Or are you going to
interest or
pay
without.
Right.
300 and then 700 with interest?
Right, right, and we'd love to get out from under some of that interest, right? But there's no Plan B, Plan C, that's the only.
Well, it was
plan.
asked of me, what about rolling it over for another year?
Uh-huh.
The thing is, it gets a little complicated because we're already into you can have a ban for up to 5 years.
Mhm.
But after year 3, it's supposed to really be 3 years for a ban, but they allow you to go 2 more, but when you go 2 more, then you have to pay down principal in that 4th year and in that 5th year to get to the bond. So we're already in that with one piece of it.
Oh, yeah.
It just is a little messier to account for it.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, I've got somebody at DOR who's retired but coming back to help out, calling me tomorrow because of our pay down. It makes our books look wrong,
Mm.
and they're questioning how we could possibly do this, and it looks like we're underfunded and all this stuff. And I said, it's a ban. Started at this, we paid down this, now it's that. I think it's kind of simple, but anyway, to them, it's complex. It is fine to do it, but it's just, the plan had always been that this next June, everything that was going to be bonded would be bonded, and the couple of bands that were never going to get bonded, were just going to get paid down, will remain, and that's it. And we'd be done with it. So, but it's not saying that it can't go another year, but he'll fight it tooth and nail. That
Mr.
one,
Bregan?
that one, yeah.
Okay. Very good.
Why fight it, Tim? I don't understand the rationale.
Because I'm not gonna have the borrowing be done under somebody who's new in the position, and I want Lorraine to do it before she leaves.
In other words, I need to do everything before I leave.
By June
But-
The next
30th.
person doesn't have to do
Yeah,
anything.
no, no.
You're talking about a $3.97 million project that needs to be
Plus,
funded.
plus, plus. There's a lot of other things.
Right, there are a lot of
Maybe
other
others.
things in there. But I don't need the new person coming on board being thrown that, given,
Well, they'll start on July 1st, and it would be in the end of June. So they'll have 11 and a half months under their belt. So, but anyway,
Okay,
that's
okay,
that's the
that's the
reason for
rationale.
that. That's the
Okay.
reason for that.
I got a question on the fund balance. Historically, looks like you're ending with, projected to end with a much lower balance than you started with. Historically, was the balance beginning this period higher than normal, or? Yes.
Yeah.
That was because you didn't fund a lot last year. if I remember.
Last year, we were a little stingy with our, so.
Good.
I have a question about the stone wall restoration project, which has kind of been, I've been bringing up and wondering about because it seems like a very expensive project over lots of number of years. And if it's not going to be funded in all these number of years, we have a partially restored stone wall that, in fact, I thought might be a little expensive at the very beginning. If each section costs quite a bit of money. So what's the plan, the ongoing plan?
I think we were gonna try to refer them to capital improvement and just put a warrant article in. I don't know what their deadline is.
Was
Do the rest of that.
How,
So
November
that,
30th.
yeah.
Uh,
So you need to know that for next year, because nothing will be done this coming year. But the thing is, when I don't remember how I calculated it out, but it's a very expensive project.
I think they've spent, is it 60,000 already on that?
It was under 100, but I don't remember how
Yeah.
much.
And they've done 2 sections
Right.
Mhm.
with a beautiful piece of granite on top.
Right.
So I think they were, when they came to us, they said they thought maybe around 100, so this was going to be a portion of it. And then they would come again next year or a
Around
following year
100,000 for the whole wall?
to finish.
Another 100 total to
Yeah.
finish.
They've spent, well, this is something we have to bring up with them, but what I need to know is your plan, and your plan is kind of, we've done our initial funding, so now we're going to let others come in. Is that kind of what I'm hearing here?
Well, this is another contender for the historic preservation component of our budget. So it's a hotly contended category.
No, and so isn't the records that you funded for Janet?
Yeah, I mean,
that was done, sorry, Dee Dee, but that was done at the request of this committee, asking you to go back to, correct?
Yes.
So
That's
that's why
right.
they're doing it.
Yeah, which we
Well,
appreciate.
and state law
Yeah.
requires that, too.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't require where the funding comes from.
No, it
It
doesn't,
do
true,
it.
yeah. But that requires it be done,
Yeah.
doesn't require a stone wall be renovated.
And that's ongoing, right? As I
Yeah.
recall, that wasn't going to be finished in the next year or two.
No,
No.
it sounds like that's going to be ongoing for a number of years now.
So without really pressing the point, we've got one project that's going to take the space of.
Right. I mean, I think that
Yeah.
it's going to take some collective will and collective creativity on a townwide basis to come up with a plan if that's going to happen. With us,
With the stone wall deal.
With the stone wall.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I'm- yeah,
we-
that's what I'm very-
you know, the nature of the beast with CPC is we start each,
These are
or we tend to start each year with a certain budget and a slate of requests, and then we have to evaluate each one on their merit, or all of them in their entirety on their merits. And this year, we voted to take no action, and that's,
No,
next year could be
I'm-
very different, I don't know.
No, I think you've made some good choices.
Oh, good, okay.
So, but I'm just asking about the others, but now I know. Thank you.
Right, sure.
Any other questions? Thank you, guys.
Yeah, no, thank you. You know where to find us if questions, and I guess is there, there's follow-up potentially with finances. So, thank you.
December,
Yeah, not until December?
yeah. So we would have
You'll know
to-
by then.
Yeah, we'd have to
Okay.
vote again.
Yeah, that'd be
if
great.
things change, so.
Who knew?
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks. You bet.
All right.
Nice seeing you, gentlemen. I will be in touch. I know where your dogs are, too. I know if I take one of them, you'll come looking.
They're hard to hide.
Well, I'll have Steve pop my trunk and he'll jump in the trunk.
Okay, the next item was, I did do the presentation last night for the Board of Selectmen on the meals tax. So we'll see where that goes. They put it on their list of things to
Folks who do the warrant article.
poke around on the warrant article, so.
Did you have the update for 15? Because that just went on. They, instead of updating it like once a month, they update it like every 9 months.
I think our estimate was like 25.9, somewhere in there.
Yeah,
so I
now
think
it's
that-
about 25.5,
Okay.
because they've now put through September of 15 online, whereas the last time we did it, it was through like November of 14.
Yeah, I think the presentation we did said 25, so
Yeah, that's perfect.
it's just even better.
So what was the selectmen's response?
A couple of questions.
They ask about the hotel tax?
They didn't, I sort of preempted that by saying we looked at it and it wasn't significant enough to payable.
That's kind of what I told Ron when he asked me
Sounds
to
pretty
Yeah.
get together a couple weeks ago.
Well, no,
Yeah, I mean,
this was
Ron-
just informational.
No,
That was who's done
asked a
it.
question about it, you know, based on how.
Well, but this is not
Dinner
copies.
tab he had where we saw it broken out, the 99s break it out because
do
they
they?
don't, they have restaurants in towns that don't have it, and restaurants in towns that do have it, so they have to program their software to print it out if it exists or it does. He just happened to have noticed it. My sense was that everyone else sort of felt like it was
What's that?
not going to be a burden to the townspeople.
You did
Would you
notice it.
just
You
pass
did
that around?
notice he didn't choose a 99 that was in the community.
Right, right, yeah. He kind of fed right into our argument that, you know,
Yeah.
it's mostly out-of-town people eating.
That's just so you know, who's doing the room tax. That was, back from the
Oh,
last meeting I was at, that had been requested, and of course.
Yep.
Yeah,
This is rooms, okay.
that's the room. What?
You heard about the 96?
No.
Ask me more about the 96.
That just, it was just so pretty. And since there's almost no, there was almost no data online, other than who's taken it.
Yep.
And so I just, you know, they don't do any estimates or anything like that. So I just thought, okay, well, they can see who's got it and who doesn't have it.
So they
A lot
can,
of our immediate neighbors
so the
are.
towns can choose how much the tax rate is on the rooms tax?
Yes.
Is that what that means?
From 2
Okay.
to 6.
For their portion.
Right.
The state
It
flat.
stays flat, right. Got it, okay.
What's the flat rate for the state, do you know?
A lot of 6s, huh?
A lot of sixes.
I don't either,
Not
so.
many 5s, which is interesting.
I thought it was the
Fours or
same
sixes?
as sales tax. Is it?
6.2,
Yeah,
25.
that's what I thought. Let me see if
I
I've
don't
got it in
think
any of it. No?
No.
Let's see if I've got it here.
Okay. So we need to convince some hotel chain to put a hotel in so we can get a 6% tax.
We'll wait until Devin's disposition and have it.
I can tell you next meeting.
If we're gonna get a new hotel in?
Now, what the rate is,
Steve's planning on
we're
getting
going out
out.
to Amherst,
He's gonna build a,
staying over.
any other discussion on meals tax?
Yeah, Amherst adopted 6%. Just so you know.
Yeah.
So,
Look at the other towns, Steve, you can change the reservation,
yeah.
lower your bill a little bit.
This will come in useful.
Yep. Know where to stay.
Oh, that's too funny. Okay.
I was surprised that Martha's Vineyard wasn't also.
Especially, too.
Massachusetts imposes a room occupancy excise tax of 5.7%.
5?
Pretty close.
5.7%?
Pretty close.
How can they be getting 6%?
Well, no, you can add up to 6%.
You have on top of it.
Anything up to 6% can be added. According
Each
to that
city
law.
and town has the option of levying up to an additional 6%.
Deja vu.
Uh-huh.
And in Boston, they have the ability to go to 6.5%.
It's always a special rule for them.
That's correct. Boston special.
That's a lot.
Except they went 6.
And if you go to Boston, they also have a Massachusetts imposes a convention center financing fee of 2.75% on room occupancy in hotels, motels, and other lodging establishments in Boston, Cambridge, Chicopee, Springfield, West Springfield, and Worcester.
Chickpeas.
But we already got the convention, so shouldn't that just be?
So that
But
gives
it's
you,
right outside of Springfield, so they're picking up the Springfield stuff.
so that gives you the answer, gentlemen, people.
12% auditorium. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah. So it's 5.7%.
In Amherst, so it's 11.7.
That's right. You might want to change your room.
You weren't supposed to be here, Tim, but do you have anything to?
No, I don't.
You want to talk about this?
Uh,
Go ahead. You're the one that got it. You gave it to me to copy. I'm the copy girl. That's what I do. I do it best.
You gonna bring me coffee? Is that
I
what
said
you said?
copy.
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 Is each one of these separate?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Here's the data from the police and fire on the.
You're not keeping one for yourself so you can talk to it?
I don't need to.
Okay.
I didn't want it.
These are all different?
Each one is different.
One's 15 and 16, and then the other's different.
Well, the
Different.
zeros on here.
So you can take that, and look at it.
These are all different.
Each package that went around is different.
How many are there total?
3.
Each packet that went around is different.
3 packets
You
went
each
around.
take one piece from each packet.
Pass it on.
Okay.
3 years.
And
I
we have another
didn't know it
packet.
would be so difficult.
Neither did I.
Well, they all are exactly the same, other than.
Well, they're the same
Couple
report for
of
different periods.
And a single sheet on the last packet.
Yes.
Thank you.
So you gotta make sure you keep enough for the people who aren't here.
Yeah, Johnny Grove shut that.
13.
Yeah, it was Rudy and Heidi and Bruce. So that's, gives you, you can take a look down the left-hand column, what it was, how many calls there were, so forth. Great, thank you. I suggest that you just take it, digest it, and
figure out what you want to do.
All right, Lorraine, you're up.
I have nothing. I was going to have that,
Oh,
because Tim wasn't going to be here, and then I had the pretty picture that I gave you.
That's right.
That's about it. Next meeting, you'll start seeing budget stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that.
Yeah.
What should we have for the next meeting?
The book,
The booklet?
the book, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have all the budgets yet,
The,
so there's no point in doing copying
Can we-
and giving
Board
you
of
partial
Selectmen went over
information.
them last night,
Is that-
their budgets last night. They did not get to all of them because the meeting went so late.
Right.
So they're gonna finish it up at their next meeting, which is the night before your meeting.
All right, perfect.
Tell them which ones I didn't get to that I
Could we
don't
guess?
I don't have yet. Yes, you could,
Probably good.
and I think you'd be right. And by the way, the school committee's budget, I don't know,
Oh, I'm sorry.
the time schedule that had been given to you was very aggressive, and I was very surprised by it, that you were supposed to get it before Thanksgiving. In the past, you've always gotten it before Christmas.
Yeah.
And they had their budget hearings in-house the early December. Well, last week, Monday night.
2 nights ago.
We stayed till almost 10 o'clock,
Yeah, I saw it.
going over that, and there's a few little changes to be made. And so, the school committee meets next Monday night, so they're not prepared to vote on it next Monday night. So Alice did get a memo from Susan Mary saying that it would be delayed by a couple of weeks.
We're still zero base? Is that
Yes.
what you're saying?
But, I mean, it's still coming in.
It's still coming in earlier than it was before.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's,
Yeah.
Good weeks
That's
earlier,
great.
huh?
so.
Any liaison reports?
Yeah, I did.
Just got one for each school one.
Oh, did you want this, anybody not get this
I'd like it.
economic analysis? Since I printed out so many of them, feel free to
Yeah.
take
Hard
them.
copies, yeah. I'd love
Yep,
Yes,
good.
please. Thank you.
Who's the one Tim sent him?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't have a printer.
Yeah, I have it. This is
I
darker.
didn't send it to everybody. John sent it, and then Alice sent it, and
Yep.
Everybody got
It was flying around.
it's a good report.
Yeah.
It was a good report.
I was at this, the school committee meeting was a week ago Monday, and these 2 charts were in the package. Take one from each.
Oh,
Doesn't do anything for me. Waiting for it.
And it wasn't, it doesn't say explicitly, but I'm pretty sure the reason they had these things in was in relation to the school choice discussion they had.
As to how to budget for how many school choice.
You see, there's 11, if you look on the enrollment chart, you see there's 11 seniors who are in choice, who will be graduating this year. And normally the practice is to recruit an equal number
Equal
of the
number
ones
slots.
leaving, so always around the 70 mark. But because of the Devons situation with the Grant Road, which has already started, I'm not sure they've actually built anything, but apparently they've got a sales office over there already. And they're looking to put up these first 16 units, the first phase, within the year. And so the schools are thinking they're gonna get 10 kiddos out of those 16.
You don't know whether it'll be elementary or high, though.
You have no idea. You don't know if there will be any. But they're using the figure of 10, which, you know, has a lot higher tuition
Devon's.
value than choice students.
Okay.
For budgeting purposes, they're talking about only bringing in 5 new choice students.
Well, if they bring in 5, that's 15, and they're looking at 11, so, right? They're speculating on the 10. Is that their rationale?
No, they'd
Go
go,
over a little?
they'd go down from 11 to 5 and then hopefully up on the Devon side.
There may be up to 10
Up to
kids in the
10,
new,
okay.
in the new housing.
And new from Devon.
Each Devon student is about the same as 3 school choice,
Got it.
money-wise.
I didn't hear the up to 10, I heard they were trying to,
Well, they use
It's an estimate.
yeah.
I think
they're
it's a
estimating something.
.7 per, per, unit,
What, 14 units or something?
16.
Those .7 kids really are kind of funny looking.
They don't eat as much.
So that's where it is, and so you'll be seeing the choice dollars going down and Devon's up.
Right.
We fit in the same chair. in
Higher
there.
balance.
And this is the other thing that was in the package that Lorraine prepared. Maybe she can speak to this.
Sorry.
Too bad Bruce isn't here. Lorraine, you weren't here the night when I gave out the prior one of these reports. He had a zillion questions.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I'm sure he will when he comes back. I'll make sure she's here for that.
Good.
We'll switch that one.
I don't want it.
They all had to do with the right-hand column, the subsidies and what they meant. This, lower right-hand corner of the top page is, it's negligible,
Thousands.
For that side of a
300.
budget, yeah.
12
It
million.
will change weekly, daily.
Yeah, right, right. It's fluid.
And mine is 27, yeah.
So no big surprises, plus or minus.
Not yet.
Good.
Surplus. Are they adding some new positions here?
Where?
This is this year.
This is this year's budget to actual,
Okay,
what they've actually spent.
okay. I got you.
Anybody else have any liaison? I missed the Devon's session for the master plan committee, so I understand it was well attended, it went well.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks there.
Did you go?
Yeah, I was
Oh,
there,
good.
just as
Yeah. What did you think?
a citizen. It was pretty good. The consultant, unfortunately, ran the show
Right.
instead of somebody, from the committee.
Yeah, well, I think that was the design of it, and that they're preparing that part of the report, so, we pretty much given them all the data.
They had Victor up.
Yeah,
at the
Victor, right.
front to take questions.
Yeah. Right, any other business? John, you got anything? All right, so next meeting, it should be taking a look through the first couple of budgets. What we typically do is kind of tackle some of the smaller ones and knock them off,
Usually you go through
get our questions.
Lorraine's budget, you go
Yeah,
through
well,
some of
she's
the
there,
small
right.
ones.
Tim and I have already started preliminary questions to the board, hoping that they're the same questions that you would ask, so they're already answered.
Okay.
Just like we did last year, we'll get those as well.
Mhm.
Plus Julie will do the minutes from the meetings, this meeting last night.
Right.
You'll have the general discussion, what happened with the board.
Can I, Brian, can I ask you a quick question on this, because even though it came, what is the building rental and the, it's like page 2, $6,000.
It's been there since before I got here. It's a subsidy from when people rent out the building. You know, the different athletic groups, the drama groups, the different people that come in and pay rental for, first of all, the custodial cost while he's there is charged directly to that revolving account. But of course, there is a profit. The salary that it's offsetting is the person who tracks and bills all the people, you know, books where their room is and make sure custodians are there and then all that. So her salary is offset by part of the profit from that.
Clerical. Okay, that makes more sense. I didn't even know people paid to rent.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
the
Saturday
school
morning,
buildings.
been at the gym?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
the
impactful.
gym.
So there are rental
HAA.
fees? Okay, I know, that's.
Yeah?
Yeah, a lot of this we've talked about before. Are we on track with the circuit breaker money? So there's, because I remember a couple of years ago, it was, we don't know who's going to be coming in. We didn't know if there was enough money. And I remember Steve and I were both concerned about, well, what's the number? What-
Right. Well, but the circuit breaker is from the year before. So it's just, it's based on the students that were in last year.
Okay.
Then we get paid it this year. We have to use it within 2 years. So that money just revolves.
And, okay. That's why it's so confusing.
And last year is when we had, the year before, a very, very, very expensive tuition age out, which meant that then the year that we got the money on circuit breaker, we no longer had that student. So it was a bonus, and that's the year they pulled all their articles from town meeting and funded them using that money.
And they're allowed to do that even.
Oh, yeah.
because
Well,
circuit
they didn't
breaker-
use the
yeah.
circuit breaker money for
No.
the town meeting articles.
Right,
They
right.
used the circuit breaker money to pay more in special ed, and then that freed up omnibus special ed money that could then be used for the articles.
Okay, so there's two pockets. There's omnibus special ed and special ed. That.
Well, there's lots of pockets. There's the 240 grant, there's lots of things.
Very good.
Yeah.
Steve, do you know, are there any big sped potential?
Well, it
I
doesn't
haven't
sound
heard
like
about
it.
any.
No, that's.
Doesn't
what
mean
Lorraine
there
just
aren't.
said, Yeah.
Yeah, could be tomorrow.
So far.
Yeah, but right now, things are quite stable.
All right, motion to adjourn.
Oh.
So moved.
Wait, vote. Okay,
Aye.
hold on, don't say, let's.
Thanks for staying, Tim.
No problem.
So, John, you're taking all the extras with you?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.